There's text in the game. There is.
Yeah, I've tested the not the PS2. I've tested the PSP version on my Vita on PSP emulators.
I've
PSP
tested
Go.
the. I think I've tested the PS2 version on PS3. I think, I'm not sure. But we have mostly everything to test, maybe except for me. I don't have a PS2 modded, so I don't know yet. But I can test on the other console. But usually there shouldn't be any issue. Also, just to remind people, this is a work in progress, so if you see anything that's out of place, we'll probably fix it before release, hopefully. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Vita works because it's essentially a PSP with adrenaline, I guess. So yeah, no worries.
No, the force is not chi. The Japanese is really force.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw hands with the 13-year-old. Just watch me.
I mean, technically, because what we did for 3 weeks leading up to this reveal, because we joined project, I think 4 weeks ago, something like that. StorMyu had the text in different format because it's been a decade, right? So there was different format of the text, and not everything was in the new format that we're using now. So we created some script to transfer some of that. We created also script to be able to take care of duplicate, which was a big issue on DC. So it was, from our past experience, we thought it was needed to have something to take care of all of those repeating notice and all of those like repeating names and stuff like that. And at first, when we started 4 weeks ago, there was about 13,000 string inserted in the game on a total of 50,000. And after using the deduplication script and translating also on our own and putting I think a third of the story is in the game at the moment of the main story. We're at about 35,000 strings inserted in the game, and there's about 5,000 strings left of story to insert in the game. We're doing the editing before inserting, so that's gonna take us to 40,000. And after that, it's mostly side events and NPC, and probably there's still some repeating notice in there, but it's mostly how can I say,
Cooking notifications.
unique string. It's mostly like unique strings. It's not gonna be repeating notice anymore. So it's gonna be real translation that we'll have to like go line by line and make sure to translate it. After that, in the acts we're looking to do, well, we need to fix the subtitle, of course, even though they're already translated. We did monster sorting the other day. Julian did that. Pretty awesome thing. What else what's on the list, Stormy, of things you want to do?
I mean, add to the game?
Yeah. Well, the acts and stuff, like what ASM do we still need to do on Rebirth?
Not too much. I've done most of the things I wanted to do. there's still some little things I want to add for, like name on the maps. I want to move the text a little bit because since we're removing the Japanese and leaving the English, so the bar is a little too big. So I need to make it a little up higher, I guess, just to not cross on the world map. It's just lots of little things like that. But I can think of something, then I'll tell you.
So there's like nothing major that we still need to do. After that, we need to port everything on PS2 also. That's
Yeah.
something else.
Something I really don't want to do it. I guess I have to do it somehow.
Yeah, that's what you get for trying to come for me to help.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to play Rebirth multiplayer. I know a lot of other people wants to do the same thing. We saw that with Arise lack of multiplayer. It's a feature still beloved by the community.
Anything on Battle
I think
Subtitle at the moment, it's coming, Stewie.
Oh, it's in the game. Well,
Like,
Stewie.
not
Yeah.
all of them, but
Yeah, I've just had it.
The one at the we're working on the closing battle subtitles, I think, right? That's what you were doing yesterday.
Yeah,
Like the little
to
like
help.
banter at the end.
Yeah, because it's not that easy to add something to a game. Otherwise, I mostly use what the game has to draw the text, and everything else is custom. So I need to check which file is going to be loaded for the voice ID, and then I have to make sure I draw the text correctly. So that's I have a counter for the number of frames the text is supposed to be on screen. A lot of things. It's lots of small improvements, but honestly, most of the ideas came from Kimcom because of what he did in the past, and I've worked with them, so everything, all the ideas came from him.
I mean, that's how it works, right? Like people show something to somebody else, that person show it to somebody else, and then it drips down, apprenticeship, that sort of stuff. It's important. Spreading the knowledge. So as we are now, I just wanted to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. So technically, the story text and the skits were already done. Lauren is working on it, editing it, and making sure everything is consistent with the character have their own voices and that they're using the same terms. Let's say we have a special terms for fire attack of Mao, Fire Kazam, I think. Making sure that Fire Kazam is everywhere instead of like abracadabra or something like that. So from what StorMyu gave me, the original team was Bash, StorMyu, Lunatic, and El Dinan. And the original translator was Vali Varchon, Snoozy Sam, and the original editor was Kuhn and Snoozy Sam. And afterward, after the initial team, I think, went on to do other things, it was Razorbeam and Cull. And now the team consists of Lauren, Symphony Lauren, StorMyu, again, of course, on the programming side. We have Julian on programming. We have Ethanol that did a little bit of programming on PS2. We have Stewie that did a little bit of programming on PS2. We have Denku did a little bit of programming on the script, like classical programming. We have Rose, who did a little bit of classical programming too for some script. Who else? Well, Symphonia for lead editing and translating. Me for like coordinating between the version and doing some mass replay stuff, which is my specialty. Mine for as a translator, especially right now for NPCs and Notice. Max L, which is assisting me on dungeon text and NPC, and also inserting the story from the Google Sheet to the game. So doing another editing pass, typo correction, those kind of things. Make sure we have double eyes on the insertion. Let me get a list so I get everybody in there. I don't forget anybody. We have Kajitani, which is giving us advice at the moment on programming. Who else? Amaran, of course, Amaran.
He's
OG guy for
graphics. Yeah, we're gonna see one of his graphics in a moment.
He's very, very talented. He's been doing the
Technically, I
graphic
was the
for all of
person
our
who
games.
made the scripts to replace the town name introduction graphics.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, of course. We need to. Lauren is also a programmer. She's also pretty good at that. We have a lot of programming knowledge. And Zero Tells, that takes care of our PR.
Yeah, it would be nice if he could post to the Twitter right now, but I think he might be sleeping.
Yeah, different time zones. And other people might join the team eventually for different purposes, because I think there's room for having different people work on different parts, and maybe just have a consistency check at the end, make sure it works.
Oh yeah, I think there's a plural issue we just had there. Oops. I am very gomen.
So technically, in terms of where we are, we're really like doing the finishing touches, like doing the last 10,000 strings, which are all the NPCs and the dungeon text and those kind of things. So we're like, there was a lot of people before us, and we're the new team now helping StorMyu. And we're pretty sure we're going to be able to close this eventually. We also break the Rebirth curse.
Yeah, it should be okay for 2022, I guess.
Yeah.
If everything goes correctly. Not gonna curse this.
Yeah, let's knock on wood. But technically, I think.
Oh, by the way, the graphics. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, Amaran, thank you very much for the graphics.
Read the battle book, hell no.
Yeah, skits still needs to be these ones were edited, but skits have been done I think in 2013, like a decade ago. So it's one of the major things we need to check for consistency, making sure that the newer translation that got added during the years match well, the skits match those new translation. Like literally, some arts were translated before official translation.
I've been working on it. No, I don't want to say 10 years because the original team, when we basically just moved on a bit, because at the time we started, PPSSPP was not a thing. We only had the Java emulator, which I really don't like, and the game wasn't even loading. So everything was done very, very hardly by checking on a real PSP every time, and it took way too long. And that's why I just moved on to just try myself at something else. And that's how we got Tempest translation, by the way, because I just wanted to test something, so I took the dumbest tales of it drivers, and somehow we did it to the end. So that's how it went. But yeah, it's not really 10 years. I started 10 years ago, sure, but the first time we went public, we were asking for translators because that was the main issue at the time. We had no translator. Our only translator, Valyakon, at live, so he didn't have the time. So we only went public because we wanted some help. We only had Razorbeam who came to help us, and so we've been working on the script for a very long time. So right now all the script is translated. The NPCs aren't. So right now the work we are doing is basically inserting everything and translating the NPCs. So that's why it's like 80% translated already. But yeah, it's not really been 10 years. I've worked on it, then helped on some other projects, worked on it, but it was mostly me alone. Carl came to help me. I think last year, maybe before that, I had some help here and there also, but yeah, it was mostly me having fun with the game. And Tempest translation, no, it's not the best. Well, fun fact, I didn't play the game. The only thing I did was do the first hit in the game, went on the world map, and that's the only thing I did. Just because I was just hacking the game, so I was checking out menus, and sometimes someone threw me a save and say something is broken. I've never played the game or finished the game.
It's the curse of the Romhacker. I never finished DC completely. I think I didn't finish Innocence too. I do plan on finishing it eventually, but it's like after you worked on them, I know usually AOT project were a lot longer than ours, so they had a lot more time to get sick of it.
No,
That's the Blitz mostly, so it's not that bad, but
yeah, that's the curse. But my only silver lining was watching the opening, because every time I crashed the game because I did something bad, I was always saying I'm gonna watch the opening, and Mikono versus awesome. Tempest was amazing. The opening was amazing.
I still need to play Tempest. It's on my list, but like every time I see people review of Tempest and how awful it is, I'm like, and I look at the menu. The menu are well done, but damn, does like it feels like 2003 DS menu. Like it's UI back then wasn't really their forte. It showed.
Yeah, and at the time I wanted to add things to the game, like being able to move the camera while moving on the world map, because somehow you can't. And through him and King Kong were saying to me, no, people need to suffer. So,
I see.
They need to feel the real experience. So no, we're just gonna translate and add the battle subtitles, everything, but no hacks.
Yeah, I think I've read. I was like reading all the different like patch note. You know, like the thing you put with the patch back in the days, like the little text on it. And I think King Kong was like, "This game is so awful," and we made on purpose that we didn't want to improve the game because it was like an uphill battle that would never be won because the game is so bad. That we're like, no, we're just gonna do the game and that's gonna be it. We're not gonna start to improve or something.
That's what we did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, to come back on Rebirth. So you can see there's an animal head on the plate in a village where people are animals, so it's kind of like cannibalism in a little bit, from what I can understand with my little knowledge.
They're cannibals.
They're cannibals. They're eating each other. But you looked it up. It's an actual dish, right? Like,
yeah, like people actually eat that. It's just kind of.
Like the people who did Rebirth actually did a lot of research on what's the world region where it's based on?
Oh, well, it's kind of based on a lot of different places, you know.
But mostly East Europe, right?
Yeah, Eastern, Northern Europe, yeah. Like, a lot of the story was inspired by the events that happened in the former Yugoslavia. Like, you'll
So
see that in a
usually
lot
if
of
you see,
character
yeah.
names, in like place names and stuff. Like, the capital city of Balka is called Balka because it's named after the Balkan Peninsula.
Which was pretty relevant back then, I think. It was
Yeah.
like 10 years after the Balkan Wars, I think, 10 or 15.
The dissolution of
So,
Yugoslavia, yeah.
yeah. Also, like usually for the names, because usually in katakana, their names, you need to interpret a little bit how they're written in English. We usually looked at those kind of like the way they write the names in those kind of region and tried to emulate that
Yeah,
to
like,
be faithful.
Clara's mother's name, I'm pretty sure she's named after a alcoholic beverage that's popular in the region.
Oh yeah, the Tails dev really care about food somehow.
I mean, that's the staple. But to be honest, I don't think there's that many food in that game compared to the in the official guide. I think it's like 18 recipe. You know how many there was in Innocence R, StorMyu?
No, I've never
So
really
it's
played.
slabs and
Really
furries.
played
70,
Innocence Star.
70 recipe. It was crazy. At one point, you think you were going mad from just doing like the translation of the recipe, and you're like, I must be done. And you're looking and you still have 30 recipe to do. Like, what?
You say
Taiga
that, but
Isaka.
Rebirth has many recipes and 3 variation on every recipe, so that's quite the
Okay.
number.
I didn't
Taiga
know that.
Isaka
See?
asks, so it's slabs and furries? No, it's the humans are the furries. No, the humans are slabs, the furries are slabs. They all hate each other.
And they eat each other, from what we can see on the table right now.
Yeah. Though I guess Veg's name comes from Scandinavian. Like, everybody, you know, is like, sees Veg and Claire, you know, it's quite an obvious pun, but apparently his name is derived from Vegr, which means warrior, I think, in Old Norse.
Probably sounds cooler in katakana. Vague. Right now, this is on PSP. You can see by the 16:9 ratio, which is native to the PSP.
Yeah.
There's a few difference. One that I noticed the most is that the sprite for the text box are a lower resolution than the PS2.
Yeah, there's like
Which-
some display issue where with the little ellipses, you know, if it's just an ellipses in a text box, you know, the poor little outline is just gonna not have a good time.
Freak out. Yeah.
Because the sprite is much smaller. I think it's like at one point it's like we can't be that small. It just like bugs a little bit. But we're gonna take care of that. I have already a fix figured out, in my opinion. Just put 2 space and 2 space before and 2 space after. I think it should take care of that.
T-Tree's name
We
is it
could.
Taitori or Titori? It's Titore.
But technically we could, and don't take that as an announcement, but technically we could do a texture patch for PPSPP with the PS2 texture. But I think it would be very time consuming. And the result would be like not that noticeable. Well, it'll still be noticeable, but like if you're
better off upgrading it yourself, making an HD patch yourself.
Ay, ay, ay.
The town hall. Yeah, this needs to be
Ben, j'apprécie.
Like Tea Tree's name, like I saw a tweet from the scenario writer. Apparently, it's from like some Scandinavian language. I'm just like, this doesn't explain anything. Please just give me the word.
Hey, you guys see my favorite character, Toma? Represent.
Why? Because he's the biggest racist.
No, yeah, thanks. No, because he's a total ripoff from the Beast and the Beauty and the Beast. Like when you look at his like concept art, that we actually did some emoji with it. Like you can almost like see one for one with like a beast face from Beauty and the Beast. Like, okay, so you were like heavily inspired by this character, weren't you?
Look, he's human blind. He doesn't even know if they're beautiful or not.
They all look the same, okay?
Yeah, they all look the same, those Yuma. Give me a nice goat, lady.
Poivre. Il y a que les Français qui vont comprendre.
How is that a simple question? It just is, okay?
But technically, like right now, for sure, you don't see a lot of text in Japanese. It's on purpose. But I think like what we did during those 3 weeks, one of the things that because Lauren was already working on a PS2 version while StorMyu was working on a PSP, and she did a lot of Souls, this village. She did everything in that village. So basically, one of the things we did during those weeks was transfer everything that Lauren did from that village to the PSP version. Because right now our workflow, the way it works, is we work on the PSP version and we have actually a script that can transfer everything on the PS2. So we don't have to like worry about the PS2 version. Like it's taken care of by computers, like in the future. And so basically Salts is all done. There's nothing left in there, which is the first town. I know it's not a lot, but when you look at all the other towns, it's actually pretty advanced too. But we'll have to look at them one by one, of course. But like Rebirth is known for walls of text. So even though there's like 10,000 string left, those 10,000 string can all be like huge books with like 5 lines of Japanese text that are like actually paragraph to translate.
Look at the man not giving a crap, punching a girl.
It's like I was looking at, I think, one town. It was like, oh, so there's 1 string left in all of these files, and I was like, oh, I'll just do it really quick. And I look, it's books. All of those things are books. I'm like, I ain't touching that. It's a little bit too long. There's actually a place where like there's so many Japanese text in one bubble. I don't even know how it could fit on screen. You remember this one, Lauren? Like, how does it work? Where do they find this space?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
It's the strings in the Mesachina cavern detailing, you know, the ancient history of Debug. It's just like fuck, words.
Yeah. So, when you play this in a couple of months or half a year or whatever it is, be ready to read. The game it's text. I think it's not that it's like a lot of text compared to the other one. It's more that they just talk all the time compared to DC where there's a lot more action. This one's like they like to explain everything.
Oh, by the way,
So you can see the battle system is.
Now the battle subtitles for people who wanted to see. Oh, we only saw one. Okay.
We'll see some more in a bit. Nagi Harae. Yeah, it's the man of the hour. It's everybody's favorite character from Tales of Rebirth.
Ooh.
Good save.
So for Rhythm Defined 2, this is a preview because this won't be an open beta like DC or Innocence are. But we're so advanced that we don't like it's not a big deal in my opinion. Should be there eventually in the coming year. Like I don't want to talk for the other people. I think probably before June if we're lucky. Depends on, of course, the people working on it. I can't whip them too hard.
No, first we don't say date. That's
I don't
a
say
curse.
date. I just say before that.
That's
But
worse.
usually, no. But every
That's
time
worse.
I've put a date down, I've managed to get down to get that working. So my planning skill, I'm pretty confident in my planning skill. I've planned everything down to every meal everybody's gonna take, with alert in the middle of the night to wake them up to translate. No, I'm not like that.
Which of it? All according to Keikaku, am I right, Peggy?
Exactly. No, but like I know a lot of people said that Life Bottle is pretty disorganized. Well, they don't know me. I plan everything.
Let me enjoy Sally.
Was Innocence R getting worked on? We've been working on it.
But yeah, so just to answer back to the question, so it's not there won't be a patch before the final release at this point. But during all the project we've done, we managed to really gather an awesome team of dedicated people. So we won't need the same kind of like beta support we needed on the first project, because we really have a lot of people that are ready to help. Awesome people, I might say.
Second round.
Bonk.
Oh. Hoorah! So if anybody has other question in the chat, you can ask them.
No, it's not that complicated to patch something.
I think he's talking about Innocence R on Mac, which like anything on Mac, they don't have an X Delta that works on Mac, right?
No, I think there is.
Because like I don't know, it looks like such a simple program. I guess they just need to, or it probably already exists.
What's the biggest
thank
struggle
you,
in translating the game? Not having any context for anything. Like, NPCs are the freaking worst. Especially with the
Like-
Japanese language, they use names in place of second person pronouns. So it's just like you can have somebody like referring to somebody by name and you don't know like who they're talking to.
And you don't always have access to their line. Like maybe if you go see the NPC, you'll get like 1 or 2 lines out of 8, and you don't know exactly when the other one's triggers. And like it's not feasible, to be honest, to go back to every town every time you do something to see if there's a new line, right? Like at one point you need to translate it without context. Like there's no other way. And after that, when people proofread the games, like the testers, then they can like check the NPCs and see if something is out of place. But yeah, without context, oof. But that's why we have people like Lauren and other people like that have very knowledgeable about the game. So at least there's no context, but she knows the game.
And for Jackie Chung, I was inputting the translation. You mean to put it in game? Because if that's the question, yeah, I try to make that as easy as possible, because I've been working on this for a long time. So the main thing I've tried to do is just make it easy for people. So when I opened the project for Live Battle, I was glad to have done that, because they could just try the patch super easily. So, and honestly, even start translating right away, and they didn't really need me for that, because it's really simple. There's a program with simple files, and it's quite easy. But I guess the others can talk about that. Lauren, how do you like translate it?
It's okay.
I mean, I think she used it. You're actually pretty new to it, right? You used it the first time yesterday because you
Yeah.
were mostly on the Google Sheet. So it's nice. I know it doesn't have dark mode. It must trigger you. You should have dark mode for everything.
Yeah, I know, my poor little eyes. I think even when I'm in the sheet, you know, my poor eyes are like dying because most of it's in white, and I'm like, okay. Too lazy to change it though.
Yeah. But to be honest, I think like the team we have now, it's like our third project at the moment, kind of. So like when we got invited to work with StorMyu, like it's another game on all the other games, right? Like you get used to it. You get used to like when I do the notice translation and those kind of things, because mostly it's like mass replace. Like I say notice says like the door is locked. Like I've translated that notice like in every other game. It's there in every other game, right? So there's a certain sort of like recurring text that you can use from other games, especially DC. Like they had the exact same text in DC that I could just copy paste in there. And DC was proofread to a point where like I know those notices are not problematic. Like they're not bad, right? They've been proofread enough. But the most difficult when it comes to the notice would be that if you don't have the dungeon right away in front of you, like the word in Japanese is vague enough that it could be a gate, it could be a grate, it could be like it could be a door, it could be something like that. Like the kanji is too vague that you're like the door is open, but is it accurate? Like is it like a door with like grids, or is it like a big door, two doors, or something like that? So sometimes you go general.
I guess like there's another question I want to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Jackie Chung asking about the art names for Annie and Tetri, and right now they're kind of up in the air a little bit. Like,
yeah, because what's inside right now is what I had, so we'll see. We'll talk about it.
yeah, it's something that needs to be discussed because I know one of her arts was like translated in Tales of Vesperia, and they didn't really change it. And then what we have in the patch at the moment isn't consistent with that. So we're gonna have to something for discussion. And you know, none of Teatri's arts have a translation at all, so.
But you did them all in your version, right?
Yeah, I have my version. There's something already in the patch. You know, we're gonna look at it over.
And that's one of the good things is like, in some turn, like in some twist of fate or something like that, Lauren worked on stuff that StorMyu never worked on, and it just like matches. Like, okay, so like, I don't know, it's just crazy. It's like Lauren worked on the monster book, and then you look, the monster book is not done in the StorMu's version. It's like, right, we can take that translation. And there's a ton of example like that where it's like something they didn't do in like 3 years, Lauren did on her side, and like vice versa. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of like we can really mix and match, and it
there's a
makes it
reason
like
for that, actually, for the battle book, because the PSP use quite a different system for its text, especially on the battle book, and it's it's hard to explain easily, but the text is like everywhere. So getting everything is way harder on the PSP than on the PS2, and that's why I took my time to actually have that extracted for people to translate. So that's why it wasn't translated. And on the PS2,
Oh,
it
what
was
is
pretty
this?
easy.
What is this? Explain yourselves.
what? What happened?
You gotta wait
No,
like
it's in
20 seconds,
Japanese.
I guess. Wow, great English patch we got here.
Not my fault.
That's the notice about the title. Yeah, we'll do that eventually. Notice. Usually, I like to wait before doing them. Want to make
I
sure
blame you,
that.
Peggy. It's your fault. I blame you.
I know. The thing is, it should be done on your version, right? We just need to transfer it.
Yeah, I think it's done on my version. It just needs to be transferred. I'm not sure why it's not transferred, but
I was in charge of those files. Whoops. Sorry.
freaking Peggy.
Marking them as 100%. Oh, I'm just gonna move on.
Also, I think the name is wrong. I think it should be spelled with a C.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that. That was one of the things where it wasn't consistent between both versions, and I was just like, I don't know.
Put the
I'm
C,
just gonna
Peggy.
wait.
Just mass replace it.
See? No, but the thing is, I thought like K was more like Balkan. No, like the K was more like.
Well, we're going with the C, okay?
All right,
Yeah.
I'll do the C. No problem.
Claire is Russian.
Hey, it's a click away.
Kurea.
It's not very.
Yeah.
Are there plans also for PS2 version? Yes.
Of course.
Like, this project is actually a combination of this PSP version that StorMyu's been working on for the past, however long, and then
Yeah.
the PS2 version that I started back in April, I think. So we
You mean
decided
StorMu's
to.
version? Aeons ago.
Yes, we're back when dinosaurs
That's it.
roamed the earth. StorMyu started
I was
working on
there
dinosaurs.
3,000 years ago when StorMyu announced this patch.
I mean, like, he didn't
Well,
announce it. He
yes.
asked for somebody to help him, and everybody's just like, PSP Rebirth, oh my goodness.
It's getting there. To be honest, I think like there's a certain like momentum that happens when a lot of people get together and start working on something. I think we kind of achieved that momentum at the moment. Like I feel there's progress being done like every day, and substantial progress every day. Like it's gonna be a little bit of text inserted, and then like StorMyu or Julian or like other people are gonna discuss the programming, and all of those two things are gonna balance each other. And like when you see somebody working hard next to you, it makes you want to work hard too. So like that's why I like a team of at least like 10 people. Usually like they gain that momentum, and of course like that momentum won't be sustainable in like 2 years, right? That's normal that those kind of patch slows down during that time. But with the amount of work left, I think we'll be able to sustain that momentum for at least a couple of months, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, right, there's a white at the beginning and then there's green, so we need to fix that.
It wasn't fixed? Oh yeah, I think I was in charge of that file too. I don't know. No, but
Peggy! Peggy, what are
the
you
cooking
doing?
notice, I wanted to work. I think I wanted to wait. I want to wait for the notice. I need Maxell to proofread me. But to be honest, I thought I did it well. we have the text.
By the way, you can show how broken the battle book is.
No, I think Lauren wanted to
people
not,
need to know. No,
We're gonna
people
look
need to realize how bad things can be. Okay.
Okay. We'll look at the battle book once these skits are done.
We'll show you our hidden secret.
No,
Battle
because,
book is something that is
it's a work in progress, and people need to see that sometimes things are ugly. That's it. And,
I think you should show like the menus in general, because I think like 99% of the menu are done. It's pretty much just the books that are left.
I wouldn't say 99. The battle book is big.
Yeah, but battle book is only 1% of what I think it is. I mean, it's big, but like if you play let's say I play the game, like if I don't enter the battle book, I don't see any Japanese. It's normal that the text is going off screen. It's on purpose. We're working on a solution that might take care of it for us. We don't know yet. We'll see what we do.
Yeah, what the heck is this? Freaking Japanese everywhere. I think.
Don't go too fast, because on stream it's sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow.
Oh, I see you've changed the translation.
Yeah, I went and made it consistent with the existing localizations.
I mean, StorMyu has been doing it for, I don't know, eons ago. So after we put everything together in the last month, I think 2022 is
yeah, it's doable.
It's doable in my opinion. Like, if we don't manage to do it in 2022, it's because something, like there's a huge bug or something we didn't notice.
Yeah, or somebody like dies or something, you know.
Yeah, like.
I mean, it happened to me. Okay. But people have backup now. But it was at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, March, I think. My laptop hard drive died, and I didn't make a backup for like 4 months, and I lost so many work on Rebirth. And right at the beginning of the pandemic, it was horrible. I had to do things again.
But what did you lose exactly? Like, was it like ASM acts? Was it like translations?
Yeah,
like
no, I think code came after that. So yeah, it was just ASM acts. So lots of little things I like to fix here and there. So yeah, I lost a lot of things. But it's not just that. It's just.
Oh, that line that I thought was not there. I replaced with dabs.
Yeah,
and then but that's not the line that I translate. Like the line that's supposed to be there. The line that's supposed to be there, like I translated it. Well, and then like the line that was duplicated is the one that went into the patch, and I just replaced it with tabs. So I think we'll have to maybe look at that, I guess.
Dabs. I told you it was there.
Well, like we'll have to look at that file later.
For the answer of Christian Cofield, I mean, we're working on PSP first, but we're planning to have potentially both at the same time. It's just that the way it works is we do everything on PSP, and we have a lot of things that transfer on PS2.
Wait, I want to talk about that. This is not supposed to happen. I want to, the first name is correct. Remove the yellow one. And up them, make them higher a bit, because it's a bit on the world map to the right. That's the little thing I want to do.
But yeah, we're planning to have both potentially at the same time, release at the same time.
Hard, honestly, because the PS2 version of So we have to make all the small adjustments. Honestly, it's gonna be hard. We can try, I guess, but if the PS3 version is done, we can just release it and then work on the PS2.
For sure. For sure. I mean, you've seen Julian. I mean, Julian's like, give me more. I want to do more. So you might, especially if like it's already done on the PSP. Like it's like you don't have to think the same way about it because like the fix is done in some sort of way, right? So you have inspiration to do it on the PS2 version compared to coming up with the fix on your own on the PSP.
But
I think there's an issue here. I'm editing the camera and it's, or I guess...
ooh.
Now, when you press the block button and back, you can change the zoom.
No, that's...
Block button back.
It's the, yeah, this is camera. This is gauge.
Yeah, but...
Oops.
Like the gauge is not working properly.
What's the gauge?
For this one, it shows both the camera target and the gauge party, when it should just be showing the gauge.
What are gauge?
The force gauge.
Yeah.
How does it work?
The triangles.
Now what the hell are you doing?
Kajitani has entered the chat. Mine saying a word, Kaji. He's gonna like dab and leave.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be able to get fly under the radar.
I'll be right back, just a moment.
Destiny 2 is already worked on by another team. In case you didn't know.
Yeah, somebody else is working on Destiny 2. We're not gonna touch it.
They're changing music. Oh, those names. Drumbu.
Yeah, his name's stupid even in Japanese. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be.
Even the way he screams.
Ada, ada, ada.
Ada.
And he's just like, losing is winning when he loses. Makeru ga kachi da.
Welcome, Astro. He's in the chat. For the people I don't know, Astro has been working very hard on DC with Good Guy and Dragon Please. And I mean, I think he did the retranslation of like, I don't know, like maybe like 4/5 of DC. Yeah. He's a real warrior.
Yeah, the test.
But it was you that said, Lauren, that the Larulen bridge is the same file as the other bridge. That's
There's a
little
Pokémon
bit,
bridge, yeah.
Because I've seen there's like just a slight difference in the, well, the bridge is obviously a different sprite, but also like the backgrounds are slightly different.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the same.
Yeah, but I have the perfect guide. They show it. I don't know.
I mean, like,
see.
there is a different bridge, but it's not this one. This one's the same as the Pokémon bridge.
Oh, okay, there's like 3 bridge.
Yeah, there's
Right?
3 bridges. There's a Laurelin bridge, there's a Edoray bridge, and then there's a Pokémon bridge.
See, I know a lot about that game.
You said that, but I played the game, well, 10 years ago, and I haven't played it since then, so yeah, honestly, I don't know that much. I was waiting for, you know, finalize. It's been way too long. Pokemon Bridge, no.
What the heck? The battle book ni sakusen chū no, or sento chū no sakusen ni tsuite no setsumei ga
Japanese.
sarete.
I will Peggy.
People reading Japanese on stream, they're like, look at me, I can read Japanese.
Read battle. Hell no, screw you.
Anyway.
This game supports accented characters with Japanese. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's just the punctuation that got yeeted.
Yeah. I killed the Japanese punctuations. I know you had that, Kaji.
No, me never.
Especially that it's like punctuation for like language that we're not planning for the first release, which is, oh, at least it's in there, but
yeah, I mean, I could just put them back. I just, yeah. Technically, we're supposed to get rid of everything, so.
That's a long line.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh yeah, it just barely fits. Epic.
Shit, I don't know. For other prefix languages, do you need other punctuation? Like, you know, German has the lowered quotation marks.
Well, I know it's Sprachen the Deutsch, so.
I have 3 different font files for that. But we're not really using it anymore.
Oh, cool.
I mean, after release, we can see, because I know you had other teams with other language, we could see where they were at. at that moment.
No, we're about to see it,
Probably,
Julian.
Yeah, I think the Italians had a lot of things translated. So
The Italian, at least in the menu, was marked as 100% for everything. So maybe for them it would be nice.
Everything we had extracted back then, so you
Okay,
minus the
see.
battle book and something like that.
I mean, I can translate Italian. Si, pasta, le spaghetti. Mamma mia.
You know we're playing Rebirth, you don't have to be racist.
I'm not racist.
Somebody give Peggy some peach pie.
In, Super Mario, everything I learned was in Mario 64. I mean, that's my basis. You telling me that Mario is not Italian? Reality broken.
I thought, did I edit that or?
I think during the battle there's one string that's still it had to be.
Okay, this is needs to be fixed.
Yep.
Carl is saying you did this room. Thank you.
Gotta say.
Which battle text?
Playtime. Almost no Japanese.
The one that's coming up that we had to enlarge the buffer.
Yeah.
That thingy. But
yeah, I still think there's one string that's a little bit. It's still a little bit too big.
We did a fix for that. I wasn't aware. Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, Julian did.
Like I say, Julian is the ASM machine.
Yeah, I just got here.
Oh my!
I
want to put that in a game.
Like, to be honest, if we did like a texture pack, let's just say, right? I'm not announcing anything, but I think the thing that would benefit the most would be like those little like bubbles over their head, maybe like battle overlay, the text box, maybe get a bigger, higher resolution sprite. Like I don't think you like on a 2D game. I don't think you need to do that, like to upscale that much, right? You don't need to redo that many texture, in my opinion. After that, I don't know. No, you can't speak MM. With his Adam Driver's voice.
I do not sound like Adam Driver.
He does. Okay, everybody in the chat does this voice you just heard.
I do not sound like Adam Driver. I do not.
He is.
Yo, Adam
We
Driver
need-
join the chat?
What?
Do we have a line from Star Wars that he can say? Ray, Ray, stop it, Ray. Join me and my chest.
Oh my god, Red.
100% actually. It's all vague translations. Everything else is we've done nothing. That's it.
The vague translation. Translation's good. Nice one. Where's your patch, by the way, Red? You know it's done?
For Taiga, when you run a PSP game on emulator, load time usually disappears, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's not really what he meant. So.
Okay, you meant on like the actual hardware?
I've played on hardware.
just,
I've had poor load time experiences in the past.
Like, I can talk about Horror Story. When you play like Weiss Schwarz, the card game on like hardware, like to load a game takes literally, I'm not joking, 5 minutes.
What you making, Aaron?
The big problem with the
Could you make me one too?
Is that it's a really old piece of garbage console. It's not good.
I like it.
Oh, I love it. It's a great console. It's just a piece of shit.
I mean, once you remove the UMD from the equation, it's actually not that bad.
It is not. It's okay. But it's definitely not powerful, so I'm guessing that if you did try to play the PS2 port on the PSP version, you might actually kind of experience some performance issues, is my guess.
Is that Adam Driver's official stance?
Another big dough on my end.
Sounds like
For
it's time
those
to
wondering who I
get
am,
that
I've
line break.
contributed actually nothing to this project, so that's my role here.
StorMyu, where's my line breaks?
Line breaks.
I know.
Not yet, okay.
I know. You gotta pressure him.
There's a lot of things to do, okay? So I worked on Battle Sub like till 5 a.m. today.
And they fucking kick ass. Like, that preview was awesome. Like, I'm surprised you got the timing that well.
The timing?
I mean,
No,
after
the
a
timing
decade,
is,
I hope. No.
Yeah.
no, the timing is automatic. Because
No, it is automatic, but it looks very seamless. Like, it looks like they're supposed to be there.
Oh, yeah. But I had to remove a text, actually. I'm glad no one is noticing. You know, every time you do an art, it has the element and something else, like Aqua Ritual, that's supposed to be on the top screen. I removed that just to make space for the
God, yeah, it was so weighty before, like it took so much space. Yeah, if you played on the Vita, which is what I plan to do, by the way, for myself personally, I'm guessing you'll have no issues even if you do play the PS2 version. The Vita is just more powerful.
You can play PS2 games on Vita. I didn't know.
Can you do that, actually?
No, I don't think you can. Oh, you meant
I don't think
PSP
so.
version on Vita.
I mean, I'm gonna play the PSP version of Vita. That's my plan.
Yeah.
I
No,
honestly just
there's no
recommend that
issue.
I do recommend that you play the PSP version because it has more content. And if someone hypothetically, maybe perhaps, made a texture pack, if someone had such a plan, then maybe you can do that and probably add that on. Then no, you can't. You can't do that. But PSP on Vita is definitely the way to go. Just the PSP version has more content, I believe. Not by much, but a little bit more.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Here and there, bits and pieces.
I mean,
don't
like,
think,
to be honest,
bits and
if
pieces
you-
matter, you know.
they greatly diminish, right? Which is because for me, one of the thing I don't really like with the PSP version is the low res sprite, right? Like the text box specifically is horrible in my opinion. Like I see all the seams in there and everything like that, compared to the PS2 version, which is like smooth, very smooth.
Yeah, but if you play it on the small screen like the Vita, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
not that
Like I have
noticeable.
both, right? Like I play on my computer when I proofread, and I have my PSP next to my bed when I can't sleep, right? And on the small screen, I don't see any difference, that's for sure. But like when I play it like on my computer, full screen, you can see it's a little bit like, you can see they've cut in the texture, like it shows.
Yeah, the textures are really poor in the PSP version. Like I've seen the difference is just kind of really major.
I mean, that's why I was like, that's why my idea, which is maybe a bad idea, was like, why don't we just dump the PS2 texture and use PPSP like as a texture pack, right? Like the PS2 texture become the texture pack for the PSP. Right? I mean, that's sweet 480p. Who's speaking? Who's that? Is that your mom, Lauren?
Probably somebody in my house.
But now you can see a good example of Rebirth words. Lots of words. I really need to try PSP games on my Vita. I've heard that it really does like a great job at the upscaling it.
Well, the thing with the PSP version also is that it's cropped from the PS2 version, so you're missing visual information and everything on the screen gets very crowded, especially in battles.
Yeah, to be honest, the battle on PSP I feel like it's the same impression when you're reading like a news article on a website and there's like pop-ups at the top and pop-ups at the bottom and you only have like a sliver of screen to read the article. Like that's how I feel the battles are for me personally. With everything that goes on, you just
Right now we're playing on the PSP version on PPSSPP, but I've played English patch on PCSX2. That's... What the heck? Julian!
Allegiance.
it's cutting.
What'd you do?
No, it's still not enough.
Kind of turn a blind eye to those who are or what?
It's because it's cutting the fix.
Oh,
Oh,
because somebody put in too many lines. Why?
Is this the string you need to expand the buffer for?
What the fuck is that text? Okay, so the text box is the same size as the initial text box before it?
Yeah, because somebody
That's
did a carriage return, and I don't think we want them to.
But I mean, that's the fix technically. Like that's one of the fix that StorMyu was talking about was carriage return. You do lose the voice line though.
Yeah, that'll need some hacking.
I think somebody put in the wrong text box there. Maxwell.
To split the voice line, like without having to actually make a new voice file. Or anything.
But did you split the voice line? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Yeah, Call is saying split the voice line so that both text box have the same. Well, have the. We did that on PS2. I think you were looking at it for PSP, Julian. Like you had something that would like replay the same voice line but a later timing or something.
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
No, I was saying, oh, God, I was saying you can do that. It might be a little involved, but it'd be great if you can figure it out. It's definitely doable.
Because like I wonder if you take the same voice line, and I don't know if you can tell the first voice line to stop at a specific point in its duration, right? And then you could start the second one with the new text, and you start it at the later point for the rest of the.
Yeah, exactly.
For almost 20 years we've been working on the patch together. I'm just kidding. You guys are all like lagging behind me, I forgot.
I mean, technically I see it on stream, but for anybody that's following on the YouTube, it's lagging behind, yeah. Somebody asked.
Lagging too, though, so it'll be synced for that.
So somebody is asking, Forgotten Memories. I've heard Rebirth has a couple of issues on PPSPP. Is that true for people who've played it?
There's some slowdowns on it for sure.
On the emulator?
Yes, I've played a bit of it on PSP.
For Choron, dernière, do you plan to implement battle subtitle? Yeah, it's already in the work. I think we worked on it, well, StorMyu worked on it yesterday. Any day now, I think it should be done, depending on if he has the time to complete the thing. But yeah, it's coming along quite well. I think there's already, like, we already have some stuff translated for that, I guess.
There was some.
I know.
There was some text showing up that last battle. So I think some of it is there, but not the whole thing yet.
But like battle subtitle, I'm gonna like differentiate what's done and what's not done. Like when you cast an art, that's done. Like those lines are done. But for the ending text, you know, the different like lines you get when you finish the battle, that's not done yet. But that's getting done. It was worked on yesterday. And I know that Julian proposed itself to do it on a DC, if he has the time and the courage and the willpower to untangle PS2 DC. It's kind of weird because like most Tales monster are like almost the same between each game, and like Rebirth is the one where like they're the most different compared to all the other ones.
Well, some of them are shared between it and Destiny Director's Cut, aren't they?
Well, the one you showed me, the shadow thingy, yeah, this one I remember, but like the plant, those kind of things, I'm like, I've never seen that in Destiny.
Oh yeah, no, the poor Victory music is struggling. Like the music in the PSP version is missing channels compared to the PlayStation 2 version.
I mean, when you have a smaller CPU, that's one of the things you need to do. You don't have the same time on the CPU to do everything, and also space, because like it doesn't look like it, but sounds are actually heavy. Well, right now, like at this moment in 2022, 2021, it's not the case, but back then, sound was something that's heavy. Like you can almost fit the whole, like, I think if you take like the whole text from Rebirth, like it's around like the equivalent of like 6 songs in terms of like weight in megabytes. It's crazy. So that's why when the PS1 came out, they were like CD quality music, because it's actually like you actually needs a lot of space to put that music. compared to like a cartridge in Nintendo 64 where they had like 15 megabytes to fit everything in there, music included, texture and everything. Yeah, exactly, like Lungumba is saying, like 900 song. Of course you need to compress that. You're not gonna be running at the highest quality for that though. The answer for the battle subtitle, like the ending battle thingy. I don't know where it's gonna be. We'll have to check actually, but I know it's getting crowded a little bit in there. But in my opinion, and we'll see with Julian and the rest and StorMyu if it's doable. I think we could shrink down the UI a little bit. I don't know if it's possible at all. But the UI is huge, even on PSP. It's pretty huge. Like the the gold, like the number of gold you get and the experience you get, like this is like font like 72 or something. It's like it's very big. It could be shrink down a little bit and still be readable on hardware. And then it would. I mean, it's huge, man. It's taking like 3/4 of the screen. You can barely see the character. It's crazy. I think they took exactly the same size as the PS2 version, which was much higher because of the 4/3 ratio, and they just put it right in there without shrinking it down. And it shows, really shows. But personally, I think we could even reduce a little bit of the character portrait at the bottom, like the little UI with the gauge and the life. They could be shrunk down a little bit, in my opinion. They're way too big on PSP, even on hardware. And most of the time, if you zoom out in the battle, you actually your character are hidden behind your UI. They're hidden behind the little portrait you have.
I think StorMyu said he's already working on fixing that. Right,
Fixing
StorMyu?
what? I was away.
The shrinking the battle UI.
I already did.
I mean,
I removed
it needs...
some text. I could show some.
No, but what I think you missed what I said. It's like, you know, when you finish the battle, you have like the display with the number of gold you get and everything. Like I think this could be shrunk down to a smaller size because it's taking like 3/4 of the screen already.
Yeah, indeed.
Because somebody was asking where we're gonna put the ending battle subtitles when the screen is already like so full.
Oh yeah, right on top of the force and life of people.
Because I think like technically, like what I was saying is like we could shrink a lot of the battle UI because it's really huge.
No,
like it would still be readable.
No. I'm not touching the UI. Just the grade. There's a lot of grade gain in this game. If you shrink that a little bit, it should be okay. But we'll see at the end of the battle. I'll show you.
Yeah, can you pause at the end of the battle?
Yeah, you see,
like,
right.
I know, but like, come on, like this is huge.
Now you had the items you can win, and just below that.
I mean, like this whole thing, we could just use a smaller size. Because right now it's like there's a fixed font size for it, right?
Psh, just use the PS2 version. It's like way taller
I'm
and
just
epic.
saying, like we could look into it and maybe test it if it's not too time consuming, and see the result and like if it's worth implementing or not.
No, I actually looked into the after battle quotes yesterday, so I just tried to add some, and we'll see.
Kajitani is with me on that. He understands me. He understands my vision. But yeah, but like that's all things we can look into a little bit later.
for the dark wings.
What do you French call déjà vu?
It's a déjà vu. Yes.
Yeah, except we pronounce it correctly. It's the déjà vu.
Translator can't literally read Japanese. That pops up on the screen. I know you, 4chan.
So it's like déjà vu?
Déjà vu with the accent aigu.
We'll have to dumb it down for us Americans.
They're such dorks.
It's good to see the text in the game. It looks so good, it looks great. Just need to do the damn NPC now. Curse them. But the good thing, like, the debug file at the start, like, at first I was like, they're so useless, but with the way the script worked, that it takes the first instance and then copy it everywhere, I have all the notice in those files, so I can fix them super easily because they're all, like, in one big debug file. I can just scroll through them, so there's good coming out of those debug files. But for sure, I think we'll have to change the scale 140, the size 140 for 120, which is the base size, I think. Like, next time there's a notice, I'll show you it. It's weird because the notice size is different than what's inside of the notice, which is a higher size. Yeah, right now, like, the size is bigger than the notice size. It's 140 right now. It's just weird. Get a move on, okay? It's still the same thing. So, MM, is your first look at the game? Or you already played a little bit? Am I all alone on this stream?
No.
No, no.
No, no. Alright, show us something. Show us the map menu.
Huh?
Do we even have the map unlocked? Oh yes, we do.
Get the sorted battle book.
We ain't
So we
looking at
can-
the battle book.
No, but you need to show the map. Julian did a fix on that. It's pretty cool.
Nope.
Oh, you mean
Now
just
you can see that
mean,
dungeon and discovery are not next to each other. That was a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that?
You mean that? You mean the thing you spent like 3 hours on?
You, you say that, but you don't actually know what you did to fix that. You just had it as space.
when you added a space after trying everything else.
Yeah, that was the thing where the game was trying to split it evenly by 3, so straightforward.
It didn't even do a good job of doing it. That's the worst part. It's like it's trying to split it in 3, but not like it should.
I mean, with the Japanese, it's like 2 or 3 characters, so the game splitting small strings into these parts makes sense for the original version.
Yeah, for Kajitani in the chat, yes, well, pretty sure we need a space between the learn art thing and the name. Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Yeah, same.
So the
issues caused by the Japanese kind of assuming that you can just paste some strings together in a certain order, and no need for spacing or anything like that.
yeah. So to answer Choron dernière in the chat, I'm gonna knock on wood, but we're planning next year. We're hoping before summer, but after that, it depends on the people. I whip people, but I don't whip them that hard.
2025.
2025?
Yeah, that's what I would have had, I think, if I was still alone.
See, this one is translated.
Yes, I'm noticed. Hey, tutorial.
Hey, I did that
How
one.
to jump. Whoop, whoop.
The only notice I did, and all of the notice is the one you skipped. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah.
Hey, I proofread one Hilda line. That's it. That's all.
Was it like
Wow.
a line that says vague 3 dots? Vague.
You can fake Mao. You don't have to jump.
Yeah, for sure. Stewie is
Big
asking if we could do another stream to show progress. I'm pretty sure we could. Like in a month and a half or something, we could do another one. But it's at one point, outside of like the menus, at one point, the only way to show progress would be to go in a town and talk to every NPC and show you they're not in Japanese anymore, right? Because outside of that, like the core thing is done, right? Like maybe not the whole story is done, but like we've shown you that the story is in the game. We've shown you that the skits are in the game, the menus are in the game, and everything is in the game. So at
Is
one
Dave
point,
the
it's
only
just
one
to
with the 3D
remove
model? No, they all have 3D models.
Yep.
When you said 1 month and a half, you mean for the patch final release, right?
No. Like
Saying no dates,
I know
okay.
I make a pretty extreme like timelines, but a month and a half is totally not feasible. I know for sure. Like the map doesn't checks out because I do have some algorithm I run about the number of string left and the time it takes for a person to do them, and it just doesn't work that way unless we just quit all our job and do that full time, which we could maybe.
You can.
For those who didn't really understand what he means the patch is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
No.
of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
No.
People are gonna take that seriously, you know.
You know, hey, ma'am, you're breaking everything. No, but 10,000 string. It's still
Tomorrow
a
morning
lot
was
of
it.
strings.
The patch was promised, and yet it's not here. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, exactly. Tweet at Adam Driver on on Twitter to ask for the patch.
I really don't sound like Adam Driver. I don't.
I don't.
Oh.
We need a Star Wars line for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Tell
this one was
Maxwell
not in
that
Wait,
I've already
that's
mapped that.
Japanese.
Yeah, it was not in the Excel sheet you had. I was missing those 4 lines.
Oh, it was.
Oh, okay.
This is
Yeah, already
terrible.
like
This is gonna
I
take
don't
at
know.
least 1 year to translate.
Oh yeah, I have to
Understood? No.
When I put that to everybody's attention, the answer was, "I'm working, Becky." Yeah.
Yep. This.
Very clever.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shoot the ice
So-
up the mountain.
Well, I can make ice. Wow.
Are there official localization for
I think the Kaketo cabin stuff that was in the translation when I that was done by the PSP team.
You mean the Keket cabine, la cabine de Keket, right? The Keketo aero.
God, I hate the French. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, give them some peach pie.
That was the wrong coffee. It's like with like 3 skits related to jumping over these holes.
Wait, what? This Kaketo Hostel? Was this hostel? Whatever. Is that
Call it the
in
Kaketo
some
Hotel.
official-
I think they call it the hostel, in the
In the guide, though. Because the guide has some actual English translation in it that are not that bad compared to most guides. It actually seems like they got an English speaker to write those.
Okay, so this is a Japanese guy.
Official like walkthrough?
No, the Bandai Namco guide. Like all the shops have have their category in English, and like every town has their name in English. But then when it comes to name, usually it's like you take that with a grain of salt, because we've seen some horror story coming out of those guides.
So I think the bottom line is we'll probably reuse those of them that are good.
But I think it was already done. That's the thing. Like that's all things that are done. It's just we just need to consistently make them consistent.
Consistently make them consistent, you say?
Yeah.
As opposed to, inconsistent.
Not
inconsistent.
Yeah, make them inconsistent, exactly, which is something that can happen when different people work on different files.
Yeah, this is why. See, so we're very much separating the tasks to make sure that there's no overlap. So in that way, people are working on different things, and I'm working on nothing. That way, our works don't overlap.
Exactly. If you
And
work
there's
on
no
nothing,
in-
usually you won't have any overlap.
Exactly. So that's my strategy. I
Mhm.
don't translate anything, and that way, I don't actually. Where was I going with this?
I mean, you're
You're
going
freed up
for
for marketing.
2025 release with that. That mindset, 2025 release, man, is right there.
If I'm translating nothing, 2030, 32, you can go. Tales of the Tempest is better than both. That's an opinion.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love Tempest, by the way.
I don't know how.
I don't know how either. I just like it.
My only knowledge of Tempest are those like 2-3 screens you have at the EX dungeon, and in a sense.
I thought that the combat in Tempest was really hard and weird, and then I discovered Tilkis goes sping, and I solved the combat. All I need is for Tilkis to go in circles.
Yeah. And you're wasting money trying to see skits.
Oh my. Okay, that's the best part of Tempest, actually. It's like every time you talk to any NPC, you leave the town, use a tent, and come back in to make sure.
I'm adding Dragon to the server, by the way.
For the record, like, this is actually a thing. Like, in the sequence near the end of the game in the church, after multiple cutscenes, like, you can actually just exit the church, exit the town completely, use a tent and you'll have a different skit. But you like, this only is possible like between one screen transition. Like if you go out of town to use a tent before the screen transition, you get a new skit.
And now we'll see if the notice for the hamburger has been fixed. Because I don't know who did it, but we don't usually take a sip out of a hamburger. But I think Maxell fixed it. Now we take bites.
Oh my god.
And we have words.
Now I have multiple opinions telling me I sound like Adam Driver. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't actually know what Adam Driver sounds like. Disclaimer.
He's the guy from the like
Star Wars
those
movies.
Star Wars films. The ones that no one likes.
Yeah, but I still don't know what he sounds like because I haven't seen those. But...
Well,
he's actually a very, very good actor, to be honest. When you see him in other movies, he's very good.
Well, does that mean I'm a very, very good actor? I don't think
No, but
so.
you have the same voice. I mean,
Well, it's halfway there, right?
I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but yes.
Well, okay.
Let's see.
More.
Let's see.
The more you know. For force to some force. Oh, force like Star Wars.
well, technically,
Technically, what?
it's Fosu for the Star Wars version, or Biriki for the Star Wars version of Force.
This is like the first time I've ever actually seen this game in like in action. It's actually kind of pretty.
Oh,
This is the
Ririku, my
PSP
bad.
version or the PSP version? This is the PSP version, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
If you see like tearing on some of the overworld because of the the textures and mesh, you may want to turn the what do you call it, the resolution down to 1x. That's the only way that I found that can fix it. But in exchange, you lose the high resolution 3D overworld. Regrettably.
I wonder how many of those 27 people watching are us.
7 of them are me.
That's how you get. You get like 1,000 like tweets, and then you tweet about the stream, and you get 20 people in there.
Yeah, well, we didn't have what's his face awake to what's it called?
Zero tells to send the tweet, but whatever, things happen.
See, the reason Live Bottle works so fast is because we actually do terrible work, which means that it's really easy to produce.
No, of course, no, actually, we work hard, okay? I work so hard that my teacher was like, "Why don't you do your homework?" And I was like, "Cause I'm working." And he's like, "You're working on what?" I was like, "Working on games." And he was like, I mean, he doesn't want to tell me how many bonus point the homework are worth, so if the homework are what, like fucking, sorry, like 0.2% on my final note, sometimes I have better things to do than that. Especially when they're fucking long. Yeah, I'm sacrificing everything.
Yeah, I think this one might need to be sentence
Yeah,
broken.
it needs to be
or not sentence, line broken.
line break. Yeah. Technically, if we had the Kaji line break, but the Kaji line break, the
Where is
only
it?
thing we need to
Where's my line breaks?
Come here. You need to read this for us.
What? Okay. What am I supposed to read now?
The Japanese.
Oh, that's a lot of Japanese.
no reading Japanese on stream. That never ends well.
Okay. And Hansuno.
In
No,
Hansuno.
no.
Fire Kazam.
Alakazam. Which one's Halakazam? Hujin?
Okay, it's fixed. 8 hamburger.
Man, this chick just goes around like picking up food from sacks. I'm surprised she hasn't got sick yet. Like that could be like a week old, and she's just like, "Oh, week old hamburger."
I always forget the Japanese Pokemon name for like Abracadabra, Alakazam.
I think they're named after.
No, I know they are. I forget which one is which because there's Fujin, I think, is Alakazam. It's Kadabra. Oh yeah, it's Yungera. It's named after Yu Geller, and I think there was actually like a lawsuit about that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll be back later.
Well, that's interesting. They actually have like an in-game explanation for like the Sorcerer Ring's functions, but it's just forced now.
Yeah, it's all just, you know, you've used force.
Just wave your hand in front of the ice. It's like ice. You will let us pass.
So we're almost done. Well, almost done. I guess we could keep playing, but then people would slowly turn to stone.
Stream is stuttering a bit. Hey, does this game run at 60 FPS?
Yeah.
Only in battle though, right? In the overworld,
I think battle and the town maps run 60 FPS.
Interesting.
But my question I had earlier today, can we increase the movement speed for PS2 to be the same as PSP?
Probably, right?
Or faster?
Are you planning to do the PS2 version as well?
I mean, we're already doing it.
Okay, we're just doing both simultaneously. That makes sense.
Yeah, we have a script, and the script creates a dictionary, and it can, since the file format are now the same, it transfer exactly what's in the PSP into the PS2 version. So it takes like 2 seconds, and you have the same text.
It's really nice.
Yep. Shout out to Denku for doing that.
Thank you, Denku. Have we tested it on original hardware yet?
I think I tried on PS2, but back then we had a bug. I don't know if we still have it on PS2.
What happened?
So it was before when we had a false positive, before we got rid of that. So like, and there's a mouse in the middle of the screen. There's
You didn't see nothing.
And as these sprites are like a lot higher resolution than I'm used to seeing. It's kind of nice.
It's
kind of like,
it's not that it's higher resolution. It's zoomed in.
But I just mean like the proportions aren't like chibi like they are in
Oh yeah. The proportions are a lot bigger. Yeah, for sure. You're right. Especially Eugene, which is like huge.
Pretty interesting.
How friendly is this?
Like on the overworld, it seems it's the same proportion as D2. Well, not D2, Destiny DC.
Yeah.
But in battle, it's way.
And this game is multiplayer too, unlike the PS2, right? Like they would have stripped it away like they did with what do you call it? What was the other PS2 game that didn't have multiplayer? It was Legendia. It isn't like single player only like Legendia was, right? No, talking the PS2 version, mind you, not the PSP version. Like, of course, the PSP version is single player only because reasons. But
in regards to the translation, I'm pretty sure anything we're showing right now isn't final anyway, because we're going to proofread everything, obviously, before the end.
Oh my goodness, would you just...
But already it's looking fine already, to be honest.
It's looking fine. Obviously, there's like the odd grammar error or...
But like, it's not
syntax,
one
but-
text box out of 2, which would be like
No.
a state of like heavy fixing. Like,
Wait,
in the amount of time I have in my head, it's totally doable. We'll still need everybody's help on that, but
Do we have a 100% guide for this game, like in English, that I can follow?
Nope.
Wow.
I don't know. Do we have some guides, Lauren? What's the resource on the internet for that game?
Game facts, perhaps?
Is there a
I'll
good
have to look for
Game
it later.
Facts
I'm gonna say if I have
walkthrough?
like a 100% playthrough thing, I could always like
I
spot
mean,
fix it if it's fixed the majority of the way. So
There's a save file, but it's not 100%. Which, right? There's no 100% save file in GameFAQ from what I've seen.
that's fine. I just need to be able to see all the events so I can get all the dialogue, or at least most of it,
That could
or whoever
be
does it.
arranged.
Isn't the manga translation guide more so than an actual walkthrough?
it is. I mean, like, if you need the translation, then we have the sheet.
Yeah, I'm just saying these guys are awfully trusting you to be like taking stuff out of chests and being like, I'm sure these aren't spoiled.
Especially meat.
Alright, it's boss
What the
time.
heck?
I would
Let's get
trust
it.
beef out of a chest before I would trust lettuce out of a chest.
I love PPSST, but I hate the way it sometimes sprites upscale. Well, this song is a bop.
And that's the boss. Swing! Ow! Fire golem.
I wonder if it's
them
possible
down.
I wonder if it's impossible to upscale this one or not.
Oh, it's totally possible. On PPSPP, upscaling is a lot easier than on PS2, like you're doing on Abyss
I
HD.
did talk to StorMyu the other day. They apparently are working on implementing it into
That
the
hits on
mainline
2
build.
lines.
Albeit we'll have to sort of start from scratch, but now that we have a bigger team, that's not going to be a huge issue. So, I mean, we already have the transparencies right on the textures, so we can probably just reuse the textures we had and rename them with the correct hashes. But because that was really like the hardest part, was like not getting the textures, but making sure they're correct. We'll just reuse what we have.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of video on what's his name, the guy doing the Majora's Mask texture pack, and he's explaining how like fucking hard it is to like just know where the texture are and what they do and those kind of things.
Yeah, thankfully we like categorize. They're all pretty organized, and we got them like town textures, dungeon textures, battle textures, all like specifically organized and stuff. So there's not gonna be like too much confusion about that. Thankfully, got the foresight for that.
Alrighty, well,
I think we're gonna call it the end of the stream.
All right, cool.
This was the start of the game.
This looks promising. Looks very good.
Thank you. I'd like to
I'm
thank
gonna-
everybody that joined us in the stream. We're still there.
I'm going to get back to proofreading because I just happened to be doing that. So
No
Catch you guys
problem.
later.
Thank you, Dragon.
yep, well,
And that's
Any
it for me
closing
too.
word, Lauren?
hopefully Rebirth will be done within the next decade.
Reasonable amount of time.
If you saw anything that needed to be like anything with the translation, etc., that needed to be mentioned, just come and contact me on either Discord or Twitter or whatever, and I'd be willing to look into it.
in Tales of ABCDE, we have a channel for Rebirth. You can actually pop in there and ask questions if you want. There's also one on AOT, but I don't know how StorMyu wants to deal with that, if he wants people over there or not. But either one is fine, in my opinion. We're open to suggestions.
see you guys later. Bye.
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 Right?
All right, so this is the end of the stream. Thank you very much to everybody.
Yes,
and,
thank you
have a
everyone for
great
stopping
night,
by.
Afternoon. Bye.
Bye.